How China uses Mexico to avoid U.S. tariffs, a strategic trade route explained. Article. In an increasingly complex global economy, countries and corporations continuously adapt to navigate tariffs and trade restrictions. One notable example is how some Chinese businesses have leveraged Mexico as a trade route to minimize U.S. tariffs. The strategy involves taking advantage of the United States-Mexico Canada Agreement, USMCA, and other trade provisions, allowing goods assembled or processed in Mexico to enter the U.S. with reduced or no tariffs. Understanding the U.S. tariff strategy. The U.S. has imposed tariffs on many Chinese products to protect domestic industries and address perceived imbalances in trade practices. These tariffs can be steep, especially on electronics, machinery, steel, and aluminum. To avoid these costs, some Chinese manufacturers have adopted creative approaches to continue exporting to the U.S. without incurring these heavy fees. Why Mexico? Under the USMCA, goods manufactured or assembled in Mexico can move into the U.S. market tariff-free, provided they meet certain rules of origin requirements. This policy encourages regional trade among North American countries. While Chinese goods would typically be subject to U.S. tariffs if they are reassembled, modified, or combined with Mexican-made components, they can enter the U.S. market under the USMCA provisions. How the process works. Shipping to Mexico for assembly or finishing. Chinese companies may ship semi-finished products to Mexico, where they are completed or modified with locally sourced components. For example, electronics might be shipped partially assembled and completed in Mexico to comply with the rules of origin. Labeling and rebranding. Once in Mexico, the products may be rebranded or relabeled, presenting the items as Mexican-made or Mexican-modified. This tactic allows these goods to take advantage of lower tariffs and align with U.S.-Mexico trade agreements. Strategic partnerships with Mexican firms. Some Chinese companies partner with Mexican manufacturers, which gives them access to distribution networks, local labor, and a way to bypass direct shipping from China. Economic and political impact. This approach has political and economic implications. The U.S. aims to protect domestic industries through tariffs, but these workarounds can limit the intended impact. Mexico, however, benefits by boosting its industrial sector and creating more jobs. This has led to growth in specific industries such as electronics, automotive, and textiles. The U.S. response. As the practice has gained traction, the U.S. government has ramped up enforcement of rules of origin under USMCA, scrutinizing imported goods to ensure they genuinely meet the requirements for tariff exemption. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, have tightened inspections to identify products that may be using this method to bypass tariffs, resulting in more stringent checks at ports of entry and potential fines. The future of U.S. China-Mexico trade dynamics. As trade strategies evolve, the U.S., Mexico, and China continue to monitor and adjust to each other's policies. For the U.S., enforcing tariffs and trade rules remains a priority. China, however, continues to adapt its strategies to minimize costs. Mexico finds itself in a complex position, benefiting from increased foreign investment and exports while also maintaining compliance with international trade agreements. Conclusion. The use of Mexico as a transit and modification point by some Chinese companies reflects the adaptability of global trade networks. This strategy showcases how businesses navigate complex international regulations to reduce costs, sustain market presence, and increase profitability. With ongoing scrutiny and enforcement, however, the future of this practice remains uncertain. As trade policies and international relations evolve, so too will the methods that businesses employ to thrive in the global marketplace.